this got people riled up. They're like, what do you mean it's not a suit? Of course it's a suit. You looking at it right now, you're saying that you think it's a suit. The voters, all of these token holders, are all a bunch of whales. They hold an outsized, number of tokens, larger amounts of tokens than most people can get their hands on. Perhaps they all were on the no side.
Because if this is not a suit, then I don't understand this market.
Welcome in. It's Behind the Lines, purifying sports betting and succeeding with SX. I'm Shane Paces here. On today's show, did Zelensky wear a suit? The SX walkthrough you've been waiting for, and of course, the CFL Gridiron Grind. Gosu will join us in a bit. Pace, we'll take a deep dive into SX in just a moment. I think we're supposed to be giving away some money. We talked about it.
We didn't organize that very well, but
we'll give something away for sure. We've got Barassa from last week too. I don't know if he claimed his prize or not. But he's supposed to be getting $1,000, and we'll be giving away a lot of money here on the show. So, apologies if we don't have it totally in order and tracked, because we are giving away so much. We'll get to that a little later in the show. Pace, before we get into all of that, though, there's a story I got to share here with our audience in case they hadn't seen it, because I think it's really interesting, because we deal with this shit in the sports betting world all the time when it comes to things getting voided, bets getting canceled, getting graded incorrectly, and all of that. And this was really kind of interesting to see from sort of a different kind of market. And so, and it has nothing to do with sports, but it had sports bettors talking quite a bit over the past week. And it all centers around Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and whether or not he wore a suit. Okay, so Pace, the bet, and I think this goes back to the beginning of the year. It might even have been tied to that whole fiasco meeting that took place at the White House between him, Trump, and JD Vance, and people who follow politics or news in any way will remember it. But anyway, the bet was, will Zelensky wear a suit before the end of June? So before the beginning of July. And so this was posted on Polymarket. A yes-no equation, or at least that's what people thought. And so I got to do a screen share here so that everybody kind of can see what it is we're talking about. And so I'm pulling this up here. This is the outfit in question. So there's one angle, here's another angle right here. All right, Pace, what do you think? Is that a suit?
Go down to the previous one.
Okay.
So when I saw this, I was like 100% no.
100% no. Is it the jacket?
It just looks to me like a bulletproof vest, like some sort of whatever. But when you scroll up again.
Yeah, this one here.
That was 100% no. Now this is that's a yes now to me.
It looks like a suit. The jacket, I think, is maybe kind of questionable, right? Like, is it a suit? Is it not a suit?
It's all right. Look at the, what's this thing called? I know you can customize them for your suits and your tuxedos. What's that thing called?
Are you talking about like the lapel?
Yeah, the lapel. That to me makes it a winner. That to me is yes.
Yes, suit. Okay. So a lot of people, I think, would agree with you there, Pace. So just to give you a sense, so this is posted on Polymarket, and it had, I think, something like $237 million in liquidity on this market alone.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like, people were on it. And on both sides of it. Is it a suit? Is it not a suit? Anyway, long story short, it was ruled no suit.
Okay.
Not a suit. Okay. And here's and this got people riled up. They're like, what do you mean it's not a suit? Of course it's a suit. You looking at it right now, you're saying that you think it's a suit. The
first photo, no. The first photo I would have said no. This to me, look at the button, look at the lapel. Now, again, like, this is a suit jacket to me, and like, this is not a suit and tie. There's a big difference there.
There is a big difference there. It's not a suit and tie, but I still think it would qualify as a suit. In my opinion, I think it's a suit. You know, the matching pants to go with it, like, we're in suit territory here for sure. That's my opinion. Anyway, look, ruled no suit, and market closes. It's all paid out. No suit wins. Now, people did have an opportunity to go and dispute this. So Polymarket does have a dispute resolution sort of system. And there's a 2-hour window. Users have to go. They have to post $750 bond to file this dispute. And it goes to a platform called Universal Market Access. And this this Universal Market Access is essentially a group of people who all have tokens. And you have to be a token holder to be able to vote and determine what the truth is. If that makes any sense, that a vote needs to be held to determine the truth. Now, Universal Market is separate from Polymarket. It's not, it's not tied to it, but it's basically used to settle outcomes. And in this case, the Universal Market Access, UMA, voters say that he did not wear a suit. They voted no suit. Now, here's the problem, though, that critics will say is that the voters, all of these token holders, are all a bunch of whales. They hold an outsized, number of tokens, larger amounts of tokens than most people can get their hands on, and that perhaps they all were on the no side, and that you don't know whether or not they have a stake, in the bet in question or the market in question. And so it sort of opens it up to this whole conversation around, well, are these poly markets fully fair and transparent? Is this a decentralized, right? In sort of in this space, right? Whether or not something is decentralized sort of determines, whether it is fair or has a bearing on the fairness. And in this case, I think the critics are all saying, no, it's not. It turns out that, that these markets can be manipulated and corrupted in some way.
Yeah, it's really interesting. A lot of sports from strictly the scoreboard standpoint is black and white, but throughout the course of time, we have seen, the Cubs World Series where the dude fucking catches the ball. The Dallas Stars Stanley Cup Championship where Brett Hall's foot was in the crease. Gosh, there's probably so many more that we need John on. John would just start spitting them all out. Where there was, whether it's a pass interference call, whatever, all that kind of bullshit. But the scoreboard itself is black and white. The tuck rule, Tom Brady, right? Right. In both of those examples, like the skate in the crease, the tuck rule, the rules changed. It totally changed the future of the sport. But the scoreboard itself tends to be black and white. Whereas, when you get into fashion, Shane, did you watch Quarterback?
I watched the first season of Quarterback. I haven't watched this newest season.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think there's some really great insights to some of the things that we do live betting from the standpoint of, like, you hear Zach Taylor screaming at his team in a positive way about how he would go for 2 against Baltimore 100 out of 100 times when there's 38 seconds left and 2 timeouts for the Ravens, where if they converted the 2-point conversion, I think Baltimore would have won the game. And if they kicked the PAT, Baltimore is more likely to, not saying they would have lost, but more likely to be conservative and potentially head into overtime. You see some of the insights behind that kind of stuff, which is really cool. But the reason why I brought it up is because Joe Burrow is really big into fashion, and he's one of the featured quarterbacks of this year's Quarterback. And one of the scenes in Quarterback shows him in a suit, and there's no back to the suit or the shirt, and it's backless. Like, you literally see Joe Burrow's back, but he's in a suit. And the reason why I bring it up is because fashion is not black and white.
No.
Right? Like, is that a dress? Is that a skirt? are those socks? Are they, something else? Like, the list goes on and on. So it is a strange thing to bet on. And then to your point, you go, okay, well, if I hold the tokens and it isn't black and white, because let's just say that this is not black and white.
No, it's very subjective.
I don't know. This photo I'm looking at looks pretty black and white to me. But let's just say that it is not. This photo is not black and white. But you hold the tokens. It just changes everything, right? And one of the big discussions on last week's show, obviously, was about like the insider trading element of betting. Well, that this kind of goes back to that, because if you hold the power outside of if you have such a big edge if you hold the power in the dispute process.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, will there be any changes in Polymarket, and how many more of these kind of markets are going to get posted where there is this level of subjectivity to it, and it's not black and white and clearly defined, in an objective way. Yeah.
What I would say though, Shane, is like, if you're a recreational bettor, it really doesn't matter what it is that you're betting on. You have to understand it. And a segment that I hope will be back today by like extremely popular demand is going to be some of the bets John's made in the last week. People since airing last week, I've gotten multiple messages about people like they're kidding, but they're also kind of serious, where they want the Gosu tier of In Play Live, which is the third tier, which is the I get Gosu's every thought, all the things that he's doing. We just had a meeting with the flock, and we go through a bunch of data and some different things like that. And we actually typically meet every Monday before we shoot, Shane.
Oh yeah.
But we hadn't met in the last few weeks, just with the event and me traveling and a few other things. So we had a lot to catch up on. And you just look at John in the meeting and he's betting half the time. And then he's all of a sudden pulls out his controller and he's fucking gaming. And I think he plays League of Legends, but I don't even know. And it's like, the guy just doesn't stop with this stuff. But the reason why I bring that part of this discussion up is when John has bet on some of these markets on Kalshi that we were referencing last week, he then sends me like all of the detailed rules associated maybe with the market, but also what it is that he's betting on. And he'll have a extremely deep understanding of what goes behind the line, right? Like, how would Elon Musk actually start this party? Like, yeah, he can tweet about it, and that's what created the market and the hype. But how would this actually come into fruition by the end of this year? And that is what will be the driver of him actually putting his money in harm's way. So back to this example, if you're a recreational bettor and you're like, oh, Zelensky he's for sure going to wear a suit. Well, what are you getting yourself into? And do you truly understand what will justify or classify, a suit versus not? And how much money have you put into this market? And do you know about the token holders that have bet it themselves? So it just comes back to whether it's sports. If you don't know the rules of football and you're betting on it, you're a fucking idiot. You're burning your money over the long run. If you got lucky on some hit somewhere, great. But you have to know what it is that you're doing before you put your money in potential harm's way if you're trying to take this seriously or anything else in life. So I think that's what this all comes back to. If you got burned on this because you said yes, suit, and you lost, it's probably a good lesson and overall an opportunity to, put your money in a place that you understand a little bit better. Because if this is not a suit, then I don't understand this market personally.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. And I think what people probably didn't really totally understand is the dispute resolution process for something like Polymarket. And I don't know what Kalshi's is, but as we sort of see these exchanges grow in popularity, and many of them offering, sports markets, it's going to be important to really understand the ins and outs of how they work and how a dispute, might get settled. And that's all part of the all part of the process. And to your point, right, you need to understand that process if you're going to put your money in harm's way.
Totally.
I thought it was a fun one, and really just to kind of highlight that point. But we are working with an exchange very closely now, Pace, and a lot of our audience members want to learn and understand how to properly navigate it, how they can use it to their advantage. And of course, I'm talking about SX, the new sponsor of our show. We announced that last week. They're giving away a ton of money in bet credits that we'll be giving away here on the show. And Pace, I got to say, like this exchange has come so far from where it was. We had them on the show probably about a year and a half ago. It was somewhere in early 2024 that we had Kay on, as well as the CEO of SX, and kind of explaining how it works and what their vision was and that kind of thing. And it's just grown so much since then. They're offering so much more when it comes to sports in the various markets, and in play live wagering is available, and there's incredible opportunity here. And so Pace, I see you've got it up here right now. You're looking at some of the games that'll be played today in the WNBA. Look, they've got NBA Summer League. This is something that they'd never had back then when we first had them on. They only really had a lot of sort of main sports in season pre-game, and now we've got NBA Summer League, and we've got WNBA, and I placed some live WNBA wagers over the weekend, Pace. And when I say I placed the wager, I didn't actually take someone else's wager. I posted the line. I posted the number that I wanted. I was doing game totals. I posted the game total that I wanted. That was a few points higher than the live line. And I did that either knowing that one, and I posted it for plus money, small plus money. So if you took the overside, you were getting it at 2.1, and I was getting my side at 1.9. And what happened was I would post it. It would be about 3 to 4 points higher than the live line. And I know that, most people aren't going to take that, but I also know that the line's going to move. It's going to move. It's going to change. It's going to go up or it's going to go down. And if it goes up and it gets to the line, the number I posted, somebody might be inclined to take my wager. And sure, that might mean that I might be behind in the moment, or I might, I might be even further behind after they take it if the total's going up. But I knew that if I could get that number, I wanted that. And it worked out for me. It worked out for me twice over the weekend, where somebody did come along, snatched up the line. In one of them, I was way behind. I had a 180 line, and I think the live total got up to like 185, but it actually landed right on the hook, and I hooked the other person who took my wager. So I got kind of lucky in that one. But it's really sort of, it's a different way to kind of bet and approach something that I thought was interesting, and I'm going to be looking to explore that a little bit more going forward and play around with it a bit more. What have you been doing?
For me, this past week, I just bet on 2 CFL games pregame. I had lost one, won one, but the one that I won was 3.25 odds on Calgary Stampeders.
Nice.
So I'm pretty high. Any listener of the show, I think, knows I'm pretty high on the stamps.
Yeah, we cashed the plus on that one too, I think, right? We took +6, I think.
That game from a side standpoint, we had +6, +8.5, +11.5, and their money line, and I think even a bit of a minus, and cashed it all. So it's a slow time of year, Shane. That's what I've just really looked at CFL, but I think that what is really interesting about the book is kind of what you referenced there, is being the book. So I'm going to use this Link Sky game just as an example, and I actually am on Pinnacle right now as well. And I'll just have to read out what Pinnacle's got. So they have +11 at 1.934 on the Sky right now, which is the -11 side is at 1.91, which is -110. So obviously the 11 doesn't have the hook versus I'll just go to 10. I'll just go to 10.5. That makes it more simple. So Pinnacle is +10.5 at 2.0 right now. which is a better line that's listed, keyword listed at SX. So what you can do, and this is especially beneficial for pregame, is you could see the handle here. Like I could just take this if I wanted to right now on SX, but I'm just going to do a $10 bet. And instead of placing at their odds, I'm going to click over to the limit button. And this lets me to now set my odds. Well, if Pinnacle's at 2.0 for plus 10.5, I want to get a better line than Pinnacle. So I'm going to put in 2.05. Now, here's the key. Because SX, and you see this when you go to their homepage, which I think I can do while keeping that bet slip, 0% trading fees. Because of that, when I do this $10, market 10, limit 2.05, so I've created the best odds that exist for me, period.
Yeah, and just to be clear, those odds are the odds that you're getting on the bet. Right underneath it, it tells you what you're offering to everyone else.
So I'm offering minus 105, which is fee free. I'm going to hit request bet. Now I haven't made this bet. And there you see in the top right that bet has been requested. But Pinnacle's minus 10.5 side is at minus 123, 1.826. So not only am I getting a better line than Pinnacle if it's being accepted, I'm offering a better line than exists in the world, period. So I'm getting the best line and I'm offering the best line. Yeah. And that's because of the no fees. Now, I just went to check my offered bets and it shows 0. So I'm assuming that has been taken already.
Yeah, there's a good chance that it's been it's been taken. And sometimes you won't see it that it's been taken right away, and you do have to do exactly what Pace is doing now. You've got to refresh.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that did in fact get taken or not, but it is easy to tell. You can figure it out pretty. No, my offered bets, there it is. So it hasn't been taken yet, but the WNBA I actually think is a poor example. And we have the All-Star break for WNBA, we have the All-Star break for MLB. CFL hasn't. The lines aren't up yet for this week, but when I've done this for major sports like the MLB or NFL, because I offered the best lines in the world, and there's so many different APIs that are snapping up bets in an algorithmic way on SX, I've seen it where I post the bet and instantly it is taken because someone's algorithm has queued that the odds of the other side are worth betting, knowing that they're the best odds available, in the world. So I have a responsibility offering this line to take it down if I don't want to offer it anymore. And you can do that with the X here, or you can just actually click on it and hit cancel bets. But I'll just go ahead and actually I'll keep this one open just to see if it does.
Let's see if somebody comes along and takes it.
Does get taken. But again, the WNBA just isn't a great example. And when we do have a baseball slate, I've done this with these $10 bets, and it's just crazy. They get sniped up right away, which is really cool. But separately of that is at the In Play Live event, we set a bunch of these lines ourselves on our events, our beer pong, our softball, our whatever, and we got to make the odds, and people got to decide whether they would snap those bets up or not themselves. And we're going to be doing the same thing at Bet Bash, Shane.
Oh, what are we doing at Bet Bash? Well, there's going to be markets for us to bet on at Bet Bash.
There's going to be Bet Bash, In Play Live, markets. You're going to be able to bet against Gosu at a video game, you name it. All going down at our booth.
I think I'm going to bet with Gosu.
Yeah, smart. It's going to be juicy, but smart. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That'll be fun. That'll be really that'll be a great time. I mean, it was so much fun betting on the IPL event and the different stuff that we were doing there. It'll be cool to see it at Bet Bash, and get a chance to show it off to all these bettors out there too.
Yeah, exactly. And so separately of me offering the bets, Shane, I think it's also important to know that sometimes these odds just are better than Pinnacle. The example I gave wasn't here that I just said, but it's something to keep an eye out on. And they actually have alerts for that, where they're offering better odds. An alert goes out to their users that says that there's a plus EV opportunity based on the odds variance, which I think is really cool. It's very pro winner. and really helpful. Now, on top of that, I'm just going to click over on the rewards section here, just because I think that this is always cool to see. They have these tournaments going on all the time, and I personally have made thousands of dollars playing in their tournaments. Sometimes they're based on profit, sometimes they're based on volume, but regardless, you should always keep an eye on this section and join the ones that you're eligible to join. In this particular tournament that's running right now, I don't think has anything to do with sports betting, so it's not for me personally. But keep an eye on that. And then your promo section, this is where if you enter the code INPLAYLIVE when you join, they give you their welcome bonus, which is amazing. It's $1,000, but they give you an additional $500. Now, the 2% unlock rate is super simple. It does not lock your money in, but as you bet, every $100 that you, or every $1,000 that you bet, you unlock $20. So in my case here, if I click on my balance, I had $1.39 left in bet credits from the event, but I have wagered through 2 unlocks, which is why I now have $40 added in bet credits. And then I can go over to any of the games that I want to bet on and just click the button here of bet credits, and I could use that $41
and you can use it all, or you can use $10 from it, or whatever you want. It's not like it has to be, because a lot of times, you see those sports books and they offer you, let's say, a $50 bet credit, right? But you have to use that entire $50 on a single bet. You can't use 25 here and 25 there. Whereas these bet credits, you can split it up however you want.
Right. So in this case, you saw that my balance didn't go down. And I took those $41 in credits, and you can see now there's only 39 cents remaining there. So it's really awesome. And that'll just keep unlocking. The last time I did this, I was like, I'm not going to use it because I want to get that full 1,500 in bet credits. So I just used 40 of it, but I'm going to get the full 1,460 in bet credits, and then use that all at once, because then that actually will get my blood flowing on whatever bet it is that I place it on. But whether you want to do it
like a quarter unit for you,
about half of a quarter unit. Yeah. So, but regardless, really, really great system, whether you want to do it $20 at a time or all at once. Nice little added benefit to playing on their site. Now, they did have the ability for you to stake your SX token, and part of your rewards were, so I'm completely cleared out of SX, and the reason why I am is because I built up thousands of dollars from playing with them, staking it, and then eventually I moved it over to USD and cashed it out. It was a good few $1,000 I built up.
Nice.
So I don't know if that system is still in place, but in theory, between the bonus and no fee, they are paying you to play on their site with any additional rewards that they're giving you, whether that's the tournaments, the SX staking, whatever. So anyways, really, really, really cool system. Shane, it sounds like you've gotten comfortable with it, which is great. And the same process exists live. It's just obviously you have to be that much more in tune with what's going on in the game, because if this was live and I still have this offered bet sitting here, if this was live and my bet was offered, and let's say Chicago was up 15 and you're offering, the links were up, say 30, and you're offering minus 10.5 still, you're giving someone free money if you didn't pull that line down.
Yeah, I'm surprised your bet's still there, Pace. I thought that would be snapped up like pretty quickly.
It's funny how we click on the game. Look, 10:32 a.m. Look, Kevin
look
Jackal,
at who that is. Yeah.
Our guy, making some bets at 1 point. What's he betting? 1.2 there. Wow, look at Jackal go. Hey,
look at him. I see him he's pretty active on there. I see quite a few from him. There's a few other guys that are in our group that I've seen, placing wagers pretty consistently. Which is cool to see, and I'm sure we're going to see more as we sort of put this out there and make it easier for people and help them kind of learn how to get involved and how to actually navigate the exchange.
Totally. Well, I'm actually not surprised that bet didn't get taken, Shane, just because the WNBA's handle is just far lower than a lot of other major sports. Like, there's 5 trades on this game totaling $354.
$354.
Right. So
that will grow, though. That will grow. It will get up there. And I would expect to see like the volume get to like maybe the 10K mark by tip off.
Yeah, so if you click on the other WNBA game, there is $5,000 there, and we could probably find.
And this is a more competitive game too. Like the Mercury Valkyries is a much more competitive game than Lynx Sky.
But at the end of the day, this is peanuts compared to major sports, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, and why you're so much more likely to have your bet taken. If you're betting on the NFL or MLB or whatever it's going to be, it's just, this is a very slow time in sports right now. And I'm just going through their menu, and you can see in the blue numbers, you can see the handle on the games, and this is a very, very slow time. But of course, it is a crypto platform, so you also have the ability to bid on a whole series of different things. And I know politics and things like that have been big on SX in the past. I really don't know if that's the future or not, but anyways, that would be a high level rundown on how to play, like, make your own offer and also place a bet on an existing offer. And the reason why you'll see the VIG on some of these games where you're like, oh, I thought it was fee free. It's because they have odds makers who are offering both sides of the game and charging a VIG themselves. So they're going in and offering both sides with the juice that they're appropriate at. And I will say, what's really nice about this system is during peak season, you might have a software engineer that's copying the lines of Bet365. And if you think they're soft, Bet365's lines might be up there from time to time. There might be an odds provider copying Pinnacle. There might be one copying MGM. And I find that SX does a good job of just going, well, here's the best price and the best odds. So naturally, it's going to give you the softest line based on their system. So I think that makes it tough as a bookmaker on the site, but as a player, it's definitely a pro player environment. So really cool stuff. Definitely, I don't want to say this is the future of betting, but I think there's certainly a place for it, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. A couple things that I want to mention too is that, you mentioned the market makers that are going and posting lines, and yes, they're posting, they're posting it with a VIG so that they turn a profit because they're posting both sides. One thing I've noticed though is that they will often, at least for WNBA, because that's the one I've sort of been focusing on over the last little bit, they've got lines up late, like really late. Like the kind of late that is very exploitable for us and for people in our team. 30 seconds left in the game, kind of late. That you just don't get on a lot of other sports books. Yes, there's some books out there that are offering it, but there's a good chance that many people in our community have either cooked those books, maybe don't have access at the moment, need to work on getting the accounts, maybe don't have access to those books, like Pace where you are. Those books aren't easily accessible, talking about the FanDuel, the DraftKings, those kind of books. This is a place where you might be able to get some of those kinds of lines late. And if they're posting it for WNBA, and I've seen some other leagues in there, like NBA Summer League. Well, what does that mean for the actual NBA when the NBA is in regular season time? What's the volume going to look like there? I'm very hopeful about that. I'm very hopeful about what they're going to have for NFL Live. What else? Maybe college hoops is going to be here. I don't know. That would be really cool if they were able to offer college hoops and college football. Like, these are sort of big events, big leagues, big markets. Maybe they'll have them. I don't know. Have you heard anything from them?
Well, it's an ongoing process and operation, and I think that the biggest thing for them is getting the market makers that provide the odds and volume required for these sports. So let's just, if we were to uncover the hood of that a little bit more, we'll go back into this WNBA game, the one that has the $5,000 of handle already on it. If I want to buy up all of Golden State's available liquidity right now, there's $700 available to me. Now, if I know how this works, if I took that, a new 700 would appear pretty quickly. I would say in the next 5 minutes for sure, but more than likely in the next 30 seconds, another 700 would appear. But that is someone that is taking that risk, that has their wallet connected to pay that out as well. So if you think about being a market maker where you come on and you're offering lines for the NFL, I've seen market makers that are offering themselves. So you could see that in this example, there's someone offering $38 here, but there's also someone offering $700 here. I've seen this where one market maker is offering 50,000 on one side. That is their own personal risk. So it really comes down to that. Like, who are these whales offering lines that can in fact settle those bets? They can't put a line up that isn't settled, and SX obviously verifies the money in the account on the back end to make sure that whatever is offered is in fact going to be paid out to that user if they did win the bet.
Like, so you and I can't go out there and post a bet that's beyond what we have in our account.
Yeah. So like I could, if I'm not gonna post a line like that, but there's the number that they would validate, and I can't then go offer that on other games, right?
Like you couldn't post $14,000 on something right now.
Correct. Yeah. So it comes down to that. And once they have someone that's like, oh, I handicap college football, and I have the liquidity to back it. That's a big menu each Saturday, right?
Yeah.
College basketball, a whole other level. That's a big menu. So they turn the buttons on, and the APIs and the algorithms go in and post the lines for these market makers, and then we're rocking and rolling. So I know that a real focus of theirs is continuing to grow. I don't want to say, I think sport by sport is important, but grow those market makers so that players can come and have the liquidity that they want. Now, I don't know how that compares to a typical exchange, but the volume of people like me posting a line that I just posted and that being bought up is too low on SX right now, which is why Shane, guys like you that didn't know what it was, that I introduced it to, that are now comfortable using it, are extremely important for the lifeblood of an operation like this. And as winning players, we have to support operations like this so that we continue to have this as an out long term.
Yeah, great point there. It's so important that we do have something like this, and it just gives us, like you said, another out. Now, something that they couldn't do before that they do now, Pace, and another thing that I did over the weekend is make a parlay. And you can make a parlay, and these get snapped up really quickly. So yeah, like if you wanted to go ahead and throw one together there, Pace, like I did one for UFC over the weekend on SX, and it was, not only was it snapped up instantly, but I got better odds than I would have anywhere else. I think I got 3.28, and most other places the best I was getting was like 2.8. So we're talking almost like 40 points more. Like, it was significantly better to place the wager on here. And when you think about, VIG, right? And, it existing on a straight bet, well, the VIG gets compounded when you go to make a parlay, right? where the house is getting a bigger edge. But when you go to do something like that here, you're typically getting much better odds. So, for example, right, you get a 2.0 wager on SX on a straight. Well, you go and you parlay it at 2.0 and 2.0, now you're getting a 4.0 line. Whereas if you did the 1.8 and the 1.8 on another site, that line's only 3.6. Your parlay is only paying 3.6. You're getting that much more value out of it.
Right, and I think that's important too, because in general parlays are viewed as negative EV, and it's for good reason, because in general they are. However, if you have plus EV on both sides, the EVs compound.
The EVs compound, exactly. And when you get a site like this where you can get that EV, that extra EV, makes it that much better.
So interestingly enough, and I don't know if the fact that I've requested this a second time changed the price, but I'm pretty sure it was 4.49 when I requested it the first time, and now it's 4.4. But it might have been 4.39 and now it's 4.4. But the reason why I requested it is, again, because I want to talk about exactly what you just said. So this same parlay at Pinnacle pays 4.3.
Right.
And so it is paying better at SX than Pinnacle, and that's with like us not offering a line. I can still build this parlay right now and see if someone wants to take the other side. But the fact that they have that system where you can just click and go, okay, I want these 2 minuses today. Let's request the parlay and see what people will take. And up it pops.
And there it is. Look at that. Bang.
It's a decent amount of money.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're ready to take your parlay. Here.
Yeah. Yeah. And like that same, I'm just curious to know, like that same bet on the other side at Pinnacle, because now, okay, so just 1 second. I'm just doing a quick calculation. I want to see that same bet at Pinnacle on the other side, because that bet at 365 pays 3.6. And on Pinnacle, if we take those 2 minuses together, I just have to adjust the line because Pinnacle's at minus 11 still. We are getting 3.54. So both sides of the parlay, where I went underdog, and now going favorite, both sides pay better at SX.
Both sides. Look at that. I mean, it's pretty, it's pretty cool to see it. And actually, it's one thing for us to sort of demonstrate it here, Pace, but I just encourage everybody out there who's tuning in, like, go sign up, go play around with it yourself. When you do it yourself and you see it for yourself, you're like, wow, this is fucking awesome. it's really great. That, at least, that was my experience this weekend when I made that UFC parlay in particular, where I was looking at some of the other books and sort of putting it together. And I'm like, whoa, like I can get so much more value here. By doing it here. That was really sort of eye-opening for me.
Yeah, and the thing is too is like we're not exploiting SX when we're doing that. It's the market makers that are offering those prices, and they're like willingly offering it to us.
Yeah.
And on that note, if there is, so I'll give you an example. Like if you go play on like Bet US or their equivalents, can't remember what the one Bet Now, they were the same system as Bet US. I don't know if they still are today. Or if you go to maybe like Bet Online, there are these like notoriously relatively reputable offshore sports books that have been around forever. They won't let you parlay tennis. They'll say this particular sport doesn't allow parlays. Well, why is that the case? And it's because people have figured out that there are certain tennis events where heavy favorites actually have a positive expected value, and parlaying them together compounds the EV, right? So there's a reason why those books don't take parlays for a specific sport or a specific event. So if you know about those types of edges, come grab them here.
And they've got a ton of tennis. Like there's a lot of tennis on SX.
So, but think about that, right? Like Wimbledon just came and went.
Yeah.
We've got 2 more majors, this summer. Do we? 2 more majors, US and
French.
We have no French is in February. This is really displaying how bad my tennis knowledge is.
Well, the other one's the Australian, right?
Okay, so we have 1 major left.
One I think
the US Open. So no, there you go. Australians in February. French is next.
Okay,
Wimbledon.
so French is coming up. Okay,
I do know what I'm talking about. Kind of. don't bet a lot of tennis, but for the U.S. Open, I haven't experimented with this on SX yet, but I will for that tournament, and see how the market makers price those parlays, because there's an EV on that strategy at the worst lines that I'm referencing. Like if you're getting those 365 lines, there's EV there, and this is paying better. So that's just that much more money in our pockets as bettors over time. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen at this coming event, but over time and in theory.
You'll have to share some of those tennis plays with me, Pace.
I don't know what I'm doing. So like that, what I would do is, you know, the guys in our group, obviously,
Yeah,
Shane, like they would come up with whatever they think is best for that event, and we would just go look at the lines on SX and compare them.
Cool. Now, Pace, there's something else I want to just touch on quickly before we move on. And we can bet CFL on SX, and we're going to get to the CFL in a moment. We're going to bring Gosu in and look at that. They typically post their CFL lines. I think they were saying about 48 hours before the game. So you may not, we're not seeing them right now as we record this, but by the time that this episode is out, you'll be able to go on SX and see some CFL lines posted. It's the wallet scenario, the wallet situation, getting your money in, getting your money out. Once you go through it a few times, it becomes super easy, very seamless. But the first couple times, Pace, I think you probably, had a bit of a learning curve, shall we say, to kind of figuring it out. And it's not exactly the easiest thing. But the biggest benefit, and we've referenced this a few times, is that the money is never in SX. And you are never asking SX for your money back. The money is always yours. It's always you're in full ownership of it at all times, which is just so different than what we see when we're working with a sports book.
Yeah, and like the for funding source, like if you're in the US, you can just connect your MetaMask or any major wallet. Yeah, like this. Connect your wallet, and it lists some of the logos of the prominent ones.
Yeah.
And then the next, just transfer from anywhere. So separately of connecting a wallet, just any existing wallet that you have, you transfer your funds in. And then if you don't have a wallet, if you're not familiar with crypto or things like that, you just can buy it right here and get it transferred over. And in my case here, I am betting with USDC.
Yeah.
So, that is a 1-for-1 equivalent with US dollar. I know as we're making this right now, Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high. They've just been storming up.
I see that 119.
It was 121 actually last night, but some people, I would say myself included, they're not overly comfortable with the fluctuations of crypto.
Yeah.
From a betting standpoint, they might want to invest in crypto or be comfortable with it as an asset class separately. But I know it can be a little wonky betting in crypto. And, if you're middling, arbitrage betting, anything like that, the conversion is constantly changing. From a betting standpoint, it's nice just having like rock solid hard dollars where you know the value of it. So in this case, yeah, I'm betting with USDC. There are a couple of different examples, but the way it works on their platform is you want to be using the same token and coin that the market makers are, because if they're offering a line in USDC, they're not necessarily offering it in Ethereum or SX or whatever else. So you want to be on the SXR, which is SX rollup on USDC, which again, that might sound confusing, but it's really simple. You connect your wallet, you move it over. And what's really nice is in their system as well, they have the ability to see your assets. So you can see here, but I can transfer them. And part of that is transferring out. And it e-transfers back to my bank account. And you can buy other coins and move money from other wallets. Now, where you have to be really careful is, okay, my money is on the Ethereum network in USDC. That's what I'm sending it on. You don't send it to SX Rollup. You have to send it over to this Ethereum address. You see, I have no balances here. I transfer into here, and then I'll bridge it, swap it, migrate it, whatever. They have all the systems here. Now, that the intimidation aspect of this, I totally get, but their support, whether you're on their chat or in our SX lounge on our Discord server, they will handhold all the way through and make sure that you are totally good to go. And there is nothing wrong with getting that hand holding. Number one, to get set up on the platform, and number two, to make sure your money is set up right. Because I've personally been in a position where I've sent crypto into the abyss a few times, SX included. So, yeah.
It happens. And like you said, like I needed that hand holding, and once I, went through it and got familiar with it, it's like, oh, this is easy and amazing, and you can do it all on your own, no problem. But you just got to go through it a few times, or at least one in, one out. For most people, I think is probably going to be enough to kind of thoroughly understand it. But maybe you do it a couple of times just to get sort of familiar with it. I know, I had used it last year, SX, and then I kind of took a break from it and went back to it ahead of the event in Vancouver about a month ago or so. And it was just like riding a bike. It's like,
you're back,
I remember this. Oh yeah, okay, I remember how to do this and how to move it in, how to move it out, get bridging it here, get making sure I'm on the right exchange, all that sort of stuff. So, it's once you do it a couple times, it becomes really sort of second nature.
Right. Sorry, Shane, there's one last thing that we didn't talk about, and that is the alternate spreads. I would say that system is not the best right now, but here they are.
Well, this is what I was talking about, though, when I was talking about WNBA at the beginning of our conversation here, and how I was sort of posting it, is I would go in to the total exactly, and I would go and post the highest line, right? But I would be taking the underside, so I would go there, and I know that at some point there's a good chance that this live total gets close to that line, and somebody may want to snap up my bet, and I know for sure that I want that under in that scenario. And sure enough, was my bet taken right away? No, because the live line was 4 points lower, right? It was more in line with that 161 as opposed to the 162.5, or something like that. But sure enough, the game moved, things changed, and somebody decided that my bet was worth it.
Shane, did you see what just happened live on the show?
Oh no, did somebody snap up your bet?
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
That's the best part.
They took some of your $10.
They took some of my $10. So if you guys just saw, it said 48% of your bet has been filled.
Oh, I see that.
And now in the bottom right, you can see Futo Man bet $5 on the Lynx minus 10.5, and the maker is Pocket Pacer.
Hey, look at that! Somebody took half your bet. So half of it's still out there, needs to be taken.
I like how I posted $10 and only half. That's amazing.
You know what? It's true. It gives you a sense of who's playing on here, and there really is this really sort of a diverse group of people, and wide in terms of bankrolls. You see some people take some significantly large wagers, and you see some people that are just out there, betting $5 here, $5 there. And in fact, some of the people out there, I think, are people, that they might take $5 on something and they might take 500 on something else.
Perhaps I can't speak to that. But what I do know is that what you just mentioned is followable and trackable. So if you like the way that I bet, me, Pocket Pacer, on SX, you could build in a way to take every single bet that I take. The issue with what I do is I bet live, and I typically buy the entire line that's available. So you might not be able to get it, but there's whales on here betting tens of thousands of dollars. You can see it here. So again, low volume situation, but this just Jack guy bet 453 here and 600 there. But you can get alerts for everything that's bet over $2,000. You can get alerts for certain users. And if they're really sharp pregame, you can just tail them if you design it properly on their platform. Here are all the bets. I think we'd probably have to go into a different day. There's a $1,000 bet with a higher, like, just again,
like we don't have baseball live right now
to see some of it, but I know in their Discord community you can see these massive wagers coming through, and you'll see Pocket Pacer come through quite a bit on those big bets. That where you see that I've hit the whale status, and up pops my most recent bet that I've made. So a really cool system, and definitely geared towards you being totally allowed to follow other people's bets, to collaborate with other people, to win and win indefinitely. So yeah, long may she reign.
Yeah, and I just can't wait to see like what September brings, and what September, October, what they're going to be offering. I'm really excited to kind of see. I mean, even college football begins in August, so we'll get a chance to see if they're going to offer something there.
Right, and Shane, we're live bettors. This is exciting, but it's not that exciting. You know what I mean? For a live bettor, it's great, but it's not like, oh my god, this is my lifeblood. Whereas if I'm a pregame bettor, like this is a game changer, man. It really is.
Especially if you're a sharp pregame bettor where you've been cooked on a bunch of sites. Like, this is huge. This is massive for you.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And I do think that they're going to grow with what they're offering live. And I know, like, I've had conversations with Kay at the softball tournament. Her and I got a good chat in, and she's very confident that they're going to be able to offer a lot live. So we'll see. But it's very exciting. All right. We spent a lot of time on this, and I did mention SX does offer CFL, so you can bet Gosu's calls on SX. Why don't we bring him in now? John Wilson in the house. Gosu here for the Gridiron Grind. John, we just talked a lot about SX. We will be able to make these bets, these pregame wagers on SX if we so choose to. First one up, we're back to a full slate. We got 4 games this week with a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday run of games, starting with Toronto at Montreal on Thursday. What are we looking at there?
Yeah, so I think we'll just tackle all these games under the assumption that every quarterback is starting this week, except for Chad Kelly. I guess we think Chad Kelly's maybe still at least another week out. That line would indicate it looks like as of recording, Montreal favored between 7.5 to 8 on that game. So that's a really big spread. I definitely get it. I'm assuming it's Arbuckle. That's pretty close to what I make it. I do think the 8's pretty high. But to me, that just means if Montreal scores early, we'll probably get like plus 15 or something live like immediately. So that's probably where I would attack that. I do think the number's too high, but I don't know that I'm really interested in taking the backup quarterback on the road there, even at that number right now. So
I think Chad Kelly's back.
Is he really?
So this is really interesting. So this is what's so bad about this league, but also I guess what creates some of the opportunities. Every source says that he is coming back week 7. And 6 days ago, it was said that he will be back week 7 after the bye. But the line implies that he is not playing.
Right.
And multiple situations imply that he's not.
Well, here's what I'll say. I don't see how this line would continue to go toward like 10. And I'm not sure there's that much of a difference anyway. So if there's like 8, what you could do is just grab plus 8. Even maybe on a book that would let you cash out, you could just cash out if he's not playing, or you could just ride it. I think there's value probably on the 8. I don't really want it that much, but if Chad Kelly gets announced to play, I bet this line probably moves down closer to like a field goal.
The latest source says he's expected to play this week.
Okay,
which is weird. That makes that line really weird.
Yeah, in that case, I really like that 8. 7.
Hold on, guys. I'm looking at TSN right now, posted just an hour ago. So here's what they're saying: Toronto Argonauts, Chad Kelly was absent as the team held a walkthrough today, Monday, the day we're recording this. So he did not attend the Monday walkthrough.
That line makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, so he's still in Buffalo rehabbing his leg injury. Argonauts head coach Ryan Dinwiddie last week said it was possible that Kelly would dress for Thursday's game, but was more likely to suit up in week 8.
Okay.
So
he's not playing.
It sounds like he's not going to play this week.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if he's not playing, then yeah. I mean, I've said what I've said about the line.
Okay. So no pregame bet for this week. But if Montreal scores early, you do want to look at the Argos plus, a big plus.
Yeah. I mean, Buckle's been okay compared to a lot of the other backups in this league. And I mean, I guess he's been starting like basically the entire season, right? So, and if this line does get to 10 pregame somehow, I would definitely take it. I really don't see how that could happen, but maybe it would. So, yeah.
Okay. Calgary at Winnipeg Friday night.
Yeah, this line's crazy. Calgary just spanked Winnipeg last week, and now the line is like basically kind of the same. Like I think it's 4.5. You can get 4.5 right now, 3.5 at most places. Definitely you want to grab that plus 3.5 on Calgary. I know last week I said I made the line about 5, and that was with Winnipeg on the road, but I've really adjusted. Winnipeg down, I think, more. I mean, like Calgary, I've had middle of the pack. I've got them towards the top now. Winnipeg definitely has taken a huge hit in my power rankings for sure. I know this one is at home in Winnipeg, but I think I've said multiple times, I just don't think that matters that much in this league. So I definitely like Calgary plus 3.5.
All right.
I know like John said, you got to grab a little money line when you take these dogs. Just from my standpoint with this team, they're the gift that keeps on giving. Each week I'm trying to make an excuse not to bet them. And now I'm in the mindset of I am going to bet them as underdogs in every single game for the rest of the season, provided that Vernon Adams is the quarterback. I've already got them to win the West. I've got them to have a better record than Edmonton. I've got them to go to the Grey Cup. I've got them to win the Grey Cup. And all I'm doing now in these spots is looking at the numbers still and where appropriate adding, because you can't get crazy money down. So, you get a new sports book that has another couple $100 that you can place. That's what I've been doing. So I've got Calgary as low as 9.0 now, I think, to win the Grey Cup, but as high as 21. I've got them to make the Grey Cup at like 12-1. They look amazing. We did see that weather game. Weather is a concern for them. So I think when we're making this, we don't know what the forecast is. Always factor that in. If it's a shit storm in Winnipeg this week, really tread lightly on them, and just keep that in the back of your mind for the rest of the season. If Vernon Adams is playing and the weather's good, bet on Calgary until it breaks.
Love it. Okay, so that is Calgary plus 3.5 with a perhaps a little splash on the money line. What's that money line sitting at right now? Do you guys see anything?
Plus 160.
I guess say plus 150. Yeah, something like that.
Nice.
160.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. All right. Saturday, the Rough Riders head into BC to face the Lions.
Yeah. So another dog that I like here. So I actually think BC should be favored in this game, albeit slightly. I think it should be like BC minus 2.5. So we're getting BC plus 1.5. So even money on the money line right now. I like BC. Rourke looked like old Rourke yesterday. At the time we're recording this, so he looked really good. So definitely like that side. And maybe if you catch this early in the week, I do think that line's going to move. I think BC will close as a favorite in that game. But early, if you can get there, really good teaser, potentially get those 7-point teasers in the CFL, take Calgary plus 10.5, BC plus 8.5. I like that a lot. So I'll be betting that as well.
Love it. Okay.
Guys, Calgary's down to 6.0 to win the Grey Bowl.
Wow.
And so even there from 21 from when we first called it till now.
Yeah.
And 6.0 is starting to not be all that appealing, you know?
Yeah. You guys called it at 21.0 and I was dumb and didn't jump on it then, and I waited. I ended up getting them, I think, at 13.0.
I have them at 2.4 to have a better record than Edmonton.
Oh. Wow. That's a good looking wager.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Final game of the week, Hamilton playing in Ottawa against the Red Blacks.
Yeah. This line is spot on with what I've got. So I've got nothing for this one. I don't really have an opinion on
what is the line.
It's 1.5. So it's Hamilton minus 1.5. That's about where
what
I got
a pile
the line.
of dog shit. Like
this game is bad.
Well, this like we should say, like this week betting on CFL this past week that just passed, it was torturous.
Yeah,
it was tough.
We love this league. Winning money helps. Our sides were amazing. Our totals were poor. The play was atrocious in a lot of these games, just atrocious. Yeah. So, I think, John, like you mentioned, all the starting quarterbacks are back except Kelly. Hopefully we see some better play this week.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully so. But like I said, this game's a pass for me.
It's dog shit.
So I really like those other two games. I think those are really good. I think we're getting teams that are at least as good, if not better, as underdogs. Really good numbers, good teaser spots. So
yeah, I'll probably slap a little parlay together with the two money lines too as a nice little rec bet. I think that's always good to do on your books, just to look as square as possible. Where even if you hit, people don't seem to books don't seem to mind that much. Like you can get the two of those. I can get those with a 3% boost at really nice odds. So yeah, there's some books there that if you have a boost on top, great little opportunity to hit a big payout.
Yep.
All right, so that is nothing on Toronto, Montreal, nothing in Hamilton, Ottawa, but the Friday and Saturday games, the ones in the middle of the slate for the week, we like the Calgary side plus 3.5. We like the BC side. Currently, I think what was it, plus 1.5?
Plus 1.5 at minus
plus 1.5.
Right now,
we like to tease both those pluses into a parlay. The money lines, maybe a little bit of a splash on both of the money lines, and maybe even a little money line parlay. That's what we're looking at there, right, guys?
Yeah, I think just really quickly, we should just maybe touch on money management because some people that listen to this are not members of ours. In a situation like this, it depends on your unit sizing and how you do, but it's very typical for, a 2% unit to be what you deploy. I would never deploy 2% on the plus, 2% on the plus, 2% on the money line, 2% on the money line, 2% on the parlay. I might have at most 2% off of everything that we just commented on personally.
Everything combined.
If I had a smaller bankroll, I would probably maybe do a maximum of 4% on everything. Maximum. And even then, I think it's better deployed live. But in this example, like I think 1% on the plus, 1% on the plus, and a remaining percent on all the fun shit. Like 0.5% on the teaser, and even less on the parlay. But you just be really responsible when it comes to that kind of stuff because it isn't always just apples to apples, like where you put the same amount on every call. And in this case, they're heavily correlated. Where if the Stampeders lose by 30, the plus is dead, the teaser's dead, the money line's dead. So you got to be smart.
Yeah, you want your smallest bet to be on that money line parlay. That should definitely be the smallest.
What if it's your only bet, Shane?
Well, then that's different. But if you're going to bet at all, then that would be the smallest one there, the money line parlay, and a little bit bigger on the spread singles, and then the spread teaser. Yeah. All right. There we go. John, thanks as always. Pace, are we giving away any money here or what? Are we going to give some? Oh
yeah. So we didn't touch on that. We didn't manage that system very well, but let me just check and see if we have some entrants here for the SX giveaway from last week. We won 2. John, pick a number.
4.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Dave Nelson. Dave Nelson, congratulations. $1,000 in bet credits.
Wow.
Let's go,
Dave Nelson. Congrats, buddy.
Yeah, and I know that'll be a really nice boost for his bankroll. So that's you can thank Gosu for picking number 4.
Look at that. Wow. All right. Dave, like how easy that was. Pace, are we going to be doing this every week?
No, we can't. We'll definitely get some stuff cooking going forward. But and even if if you're like, oh, I didn't win, just enter in that promo code if you haven't already, and that's $500 additional to the welcome bonus. This is a little different. He's getting 1,000 pure bet credits right now without the unlock rate. But congrats, Dave. You do have to claim it.
Right. We've had this in the past. You may not claim it. It could get rolled over. Dave Nelson, make sure you claim your $1,000. If not, guys, that $1,000 might be back up for grabs, which is kind of cool. Interesting
and the
idea.
Winner of our previous contest, Shane, Jordan Barossa, did claim it. Okay, good on Jordan. People are learning. They're catching on, they're figuring it out. Congrats, Jordan, on the $1,000 that you got. And congrats to Dave Nelson on the $1,000 in bet credits he's getting over at SX. And for everybody out there, go
sign up if you haven't signed up. Like Pace said, take advantage of the sign-up bonus and the bet credits you get from that. But then you'll also be in position and ready to take advantage of our future contests, because there's going to be more contests. We are going to give away some.
Well, our next one is on, Shane. It's the same thing, $10 bet or higher, and the next giveaway will be the end of September for $1,000.
End of September for the next giveaway.
That's 100% on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Go sign up. Then you're in a position where you can go make the wagers that you need to make in order to enter the contest. And there we go, another $1,000 at the end of September. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Look at that. We're just giving away money here on the show now. I love it. It's fun. It's fun to add to people's bank accounts. Congrats, guys. Really happy for everybody who's been able to claim. And looking forward to giving away more money later in the year. All right, guys. Well, I think that's just about it until next week. Oh, and big guest coming next week, guys. You'll want to stay tuned.
Spanky's on next week.
Spanky's on next week. We're bringing back Spanky. He's on next week. Can't wait to have him on and touch base with him. We're going to talk about Bet Bash and more. So, guys, stay tuned for that one next week. But until then, to Pace, John, sports bettors tuning in from around the world, keep beating those books. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Lines. Remember to like, download, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Have a betting story or want to be featured on our podcast? Drop a note in the comments below. And if you want to join in play live, use promo code Behind the Lines.